what I have realized and what I've learned is that forgiveness is really important, and also perspective, and also personal wellness. When you put all three of those together, it helps you get through learning about the enemy and about the damage and the control that has been done to the average person, especially the poor or disabled. And the reason why I say that is because when you start learning about all the things that are against you, working against you, you can become very angry. Like, I'm fucking angry. I'm ready to fight. I'm ready to battle. I'm ready to... Now that you've shined a light on the enemy, when I thought that it was my own personal choice that was making things hard on me, but then come to find out it wasn't my personal choice. It was a flawed, rigged system with bad actors and corrupt, greedy people. You can become very angry. And the reason why that's bad and works against you in your recovery is because your daily interactions, like if you want to make a recovery, and I'm not saying that it's even possible to fully recover from the damage that's been done, but what you can do is hope, and you can try to make daily lifestyle changes to cope and manage with the symptoms that you've been given or have to deal with as a consequence of this evil damage that has been put upon us. But in order to do better, in order to function in the community around you, you have to practice forgiveness. You have to practice forgiveness, patience, and perspective. And the reason why I say that is you can be mad, but we have to put into perspective that it was an individual in that system or in that program or in that organization that caused the problems that you're dealing with. So writing off the whole entire system, writing off the whole entire organization, writing off the whole entire program, whatever these may be, is going to ultimately work against you, and you can find yourself interacting with people with a very negative attitude, and people can feel and people can sense the attitude that you carry. And if they can sense that, then they're less likely to interact with you. They're less likely to offer you grace and forgiveness. So, you know, I may be angry, but at the same time, I have to say, okay, well, you know, I'm angry that these doctors at the VA treated me the way they did and weren't willing to put in the work, give me grace, give me patience, give me understanding. Well, then I can't just walk out of the VA and be mad at the whole entire VA as a whole and then bash the whole entire VA. The same with living where I live. It's labeled as luxury apartments, and there's a lot of flaws and there's a lot of corruption that I may witness or experience, but then I can't just write off the whole entire community and bash the whole entire community, because the problems that I may be experiencing or seeing is from select few individuals that either own or work at these places, right? So I can't just live in frustration and anger every day of my life, right? Because then that also works against my ability to cope and manage my pain and my depression. And it's hard, right? Like, I can see that there are people trying to do better. There are people trying to put in effort and trying to do the right thing. And that's what I try to focus more on. Now, again, like I said, it's about managing and coping. That is where I want to shine a light on. That's where I want to share with others, because if others can offer grace, understanding, forgiveness as a whole in our community together, then we can function a lot better. And then we can focus on, applying consequences to individuals that may be, purposely or intentionally causing problems in our community. But if we are divided and fighting, and we are divided and fighting simply because our symptoms are exacerbated, our symptoms cause us to not have patience and gratitude and integrity, then that's going to work against us, right? So I may have these tools, I may have these perspectives, but it doesn't mean that I'm healed. It doesn't mean that all my problems went away. And in me saying that doesn't mean that you shouldn't try and you shouldn't practice, right? To say, well, I've been eating healthy, but I still have digestive issues. Well, I guess that means it's not worth it. What's the point? The point is staying consistent, staying hopeful, and focusing on the good moments, right? Because everybody makes mistakes, everybody has ups and downs, and when you're dealing with symptoms, if you don't have a light to shine truth on every little thing that may be going wrong with you, then yeah, you may experience triggers and symptoms out of nowheres and be struggling to make sense of, like, why do I feel like that today? Why do I feel sick to my stomach? And it's hard. And that's why I don't want people to think or believe that, like, I have the answers to everything and it's one and done, you're healed. No. But what it is about is, can I manage my symptoms? Can I manage my issues without, severely taking chances with severe side effects? Is there a less dangerous way to cope? And that's what's important, right? The triggers, like the neighbors that moved in recently, are young, wild and free, right? And because of that, they have been living a rowdy lifestyle, and we're not used to that because it's been a while since we had neighbors above us. And there are rules, there are laws that say you shouldn't be disturbing and loud at a certain time. So I can go ahead and I can try to report that to the community, and they can do their best to relay that information to those people to say, hey, you're being a little loud and you're disturbing your neighbors. But ultimately, they can't control it. The only way to control it is to evict them, move them, or try and be empathetic and sympathetic to them to, get them to understand the importance of other people around them. But as I said, I can't, if I report it to the neighbors, if I report it to the management and then the neighbors don't stop, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to flip out and be angry with the management and the owners that hey, these people aren't stopping, they're not being courteous, they're not being empathetic and understanding and making better choices. So am I supposed to completely bash and leave a horrible review on the whole entire community and the whole entire place because of that? No, but and these are my triggers. Like, how am I supposed to deal with that? Well, I'm not going to take Ambien. I'm not going to take medication that's going to put me into a dead of sleep with massive side effects. I can't even be prolonged on melatonin and things like that, right? It's good to cycle through these things and to find ways of coping. So when I was awoken in the middle of the night, extreme anxiety, right? My body's thinking that it's an explosion, it's gunshots, it's someone breaking in. So I immediately start getting anxiety. My heart is racing. I can't think straight. I'm ready to go to battle. And that's a very difficult thing to deal with. So how do I come down from that? Well, I do deep breathing. My wife will talk me down and get me to, put things into perspective. And I use an ice pack, magnesium, different methods that aren't so dangerous, so that I don't have to be on severe medication. But that doesn't mean that the problem goes away, that it numbs the body's reaction. I still have to deal with a lot of symptoms. So anyways, the whole idea of the story is to say that we try to make things better for ourselves, and in doing so we can make things better for other people, and in doing so we can offer more perspective and empathy and integrity among other people around us, so that we can all respect each other and to understand that we all have problems. And using less dangerous ways to cope doesn't mean that the problems go away, and it doesn't mean that it's not worth trying, it's not worth practicing, because it is, right? If I can have another day and not have a severe symptom, then that's what makes it worth it.